3 months had passed since Lisa Chen joined the crew of the Astral Dawn. The ship's sensor array had been upgraded twice more, and they had successfully located and rescued 4 additional enhanced humans. Each rescue brought new abilities and new stories of survival against impossible odds. Marcus Webb, a former demolitions expert, could manipulate matter at the molecular level. Sarah Kim, an intelligence operative, could phase through solid objects for short periods. David Torres, a pilot, had enhanced spatial awareness that let him navigate through asteroid fields as if they were open space. And Elena Vasquez, a medic, could accelerate healing in herself and others. The crew had grown from a simple research vessel to something unprecedented in galactic history. A ship crewed by both aliens and the most advanced humans ever created. But their success had not gone unnoticed. "Captain," Lieutenant Kthra called from her station, "I'm detecting a priority transmission from Zeperian High Command." Captain Zeltar frowned. Communications from headquarters were rare during deep space missions. "Put it through." The face of Admiral Thorne appeared on the main screen. His usually calm expression was troubled. "Captain Zeltar, your recent activities have attracted attention from the Galactic Council. There are concerns about the humans you've been collecting." "Concerns, Admiral?" Zeltar replied carefully. "Some council members believe that enhanced humans represent a potential threat to galactic stability. They're requesting that you turn over the humans to council custody for evaluation." Jake stepped forward from his position near the navigation console. "Admiral, with respect, we've done nothing but help people. We've stopped raiders, rescued stranded crews, and provided aid to dozens of vessels." Admiral Thorne studied Jake for a moment. "You must be Jake Morrison. Your reputation precedes you, human. The Council has heard about your capabilities, and they're worried about what would happen if enhanced humans decided to conquer rather than protect." "Then they don't understand us," Lisa said, joining the conversation. "We've already lost everything once. We're not interested in conquest. We're interested in making sure nobody else has to go through what we did." "Nevertheless," the Admiral continued, "I've been ordered to escort you to Council headquarters. A fleet is being assembled to intercept you." Captain Zeltar felt his heart sink. He had hoped to avoid this confrontation, but it seemed inevitable. "Admiral, these humans are members of my crew. I won't abandon them." "Captain, I'm giving you advance warning because of your service record. The Council fleet will reach your position in 6 days. I suggest you use that time wisely." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Dr. Valnara was the first to speak. "Jake, I'm sorry this is happening. The Council is acting out of fear, not reason." "It's not your fault," Jake replied. "We knew this might happen eventually. The question is, what do we do about it?" Marcus Webb, who had been quiet during the transmission, stepped forward. "How big is this fleet they're sending?" "Knowing the Council, probably 50 ships," Captain Zeltar said grimly. "They don't take chances with perceived threats." 50 ships, Elena repeated thoughtfully. "That's a lot of firepower." "Not if we don't want to fight them," Sarah Kim said. "I've been thinking about this possibility. There are ways to avoid conflict." Jake looked at his fellow enhanced humans. "What are you suggesting?" "We disappear," Sarah said simply. "We find a way to vanish from their sensors and continue our work in secret." "That would make us fugitives," Dr. Valnara pointed out. "And it would put Captain Zeltar and his crew in danger." "No," Captain Zeltar said firmly. "If we're going to do this, we do it together. I'm not abandoning my crew, human or Zeperian." David Torres had been studying the star charts. "There's another option. We could head for the neutral zone. The Council has no authority there, and there are plenty of people who need help." "The neutral zone is dangerous," Security Chief Torvin warned. Pirates, raiders, and worse. It's called neutral because no government can control it. Sounds perfect for us, Marcus said with a grin. We're not exactly normal citizens anymore. Lieutenant Thra looked up from her console. Captain, I'm detecting another transmission. This one is coded for the enhanced humans specifically. Jake moved to the communication station. Patch it through. A voice came through the speakers. Human, but with an odd electronic quality. Enhanced survivors, this is Commander Alex Reeves, serial number Delta 77. If you can hear this, respond on frequency 447.9. The bridge fell silent. Lisa was the first to speak. I know that voice. Alex was one of the first volunteers for the enhancement program. He was designed for electronic warfare and cybernetic infiltration. Jake moved to the communication controls. Alex, this is Jake Morrison. We read you. What's your situation? Jake, thank God! I've been trying to reach other survivors for months. I've got 17 enhanced humans with me, plus about 300 other survivors from various colonies. Where are you? Sector 7G, near the Veil Nebula. We've established a base on an uncharted world. It's not much, but it's hidden and defensive. Captain Zeltar joined the conversation. Commander Reeves, this is Captain Zeltar of the Zeperian vessel Astral Dawn. We've been helping your people. What's your situation regarding the Galactic Council? The Council? Alex's voice carried a note of amusement. They don't even know we exist. We've been very careful to stay off their sensors, but if you're asking, it means they know about you. A council fleet is being sent to intercept us, Jake explained. 50 ships. ETA, 6 days. That's a problem. Look, Jake, why don't you bring your people here? We've got something to show you that might change everything. The journey to Sector 7G took 4 days, pushing the Astral Dawn's engines to their limits. As they approached the coordinates Alex had provided, the ship's sensors detected nothing but empty space. Are you sure these are the right coordinates? Dr. Velnara asked. Trust me, Jake said. If Alex says there's something here, there's something here. Suddenly, the space in front of them shimmered, and a massive structure became visible. It wasn't a planet, it was a space station, but unlike anything the Zeperians had ever seen. It was built from the hulks of dozens of different ships, all welded and modified into a single, sprawling complex. Welcome to Haven Station, came Alex's voice over the communication system. Home to the last free humans in the galaxy. As the Astral Dawn approached the station, they could see that it was bustling with activity. Ships of various sizes and designs were docked at multiple bays, and the station itself was covered in weapon emplacements and sensor arrays. How many people are living here? Captain Zeltar asked in amazement. About 1,500 at last count, Alex replied. Enhanced humans, regular humans, and a few dozen other species who found their way to us. We're not picky about who we help, as long as they're not trying to hurt innocent people. They docked at one of the larger bays, and Jake's team was met by a group of humans unlike any the Zeperians had ever seen. These were clearly enhanced soldiers, but they had modified themselves further. Some had obvious cybernetic implants, others had unusual skin tones or eye colors that indicated genetic modification. At the center of the group stood a man who could only be Alex Reeves. He was tall and lean, with silver hair and eyes that glowed with a faint blue light. When he spoke, it was clear that his voice was being amplified by internal speakers. Jake Morrison, he said, extending his hand. It's good to see you again. Alex, Jake replied, shaking his hand. You look different. Alex smiled. We've had to adapt. The enhancement process was just the beginning. We've been improving ourselves as we've learned more about what we're capable of. He turned to Captain Zeltar. Captain, thank you for taking care of our people. Your crew is welcome here for as long as you want to stay. Commander Reeves, Captain Zeltar said. What exactly have you built here? Come on, Alex said. Let me show you. The tour of Haven Station was incredible. The enhanced humans had built not just a home, but a functioning society. There were workshops where they created new technology, medical facilities where they treated refugees from across the galaxy, and training areas where they prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. "We're not just surviving," Alex explained as they walked through a vast hydroponics bay. "We're thriving, and more importantly, we're helping others do the same." They visited a command center where enhanced humans monitored communications across a dozen sectors, looking for distress calls and requests for help. In another section, they found a school where human children were learning alongside young aliens from various species. "These are the children of the survivors," Alex said. "Not enhanced, just regular kids who deserve a chance to grow up in peace." Dr. Velnara was taking notes constantly. "This is remarkable. You've created a multicultural society in just a few years." "We had to," said a woman who had joined their group. She was introduced as Dr. Rachel Santos, the station's chief medical officer. "When you're the last of your kind, you can't afford to be prejudiced about who you work with." Captain Zeltar was studying the defensive systems. "Commander, this station could withstand an attack from a significant fleet." "That's the idea," Alex replied. "We've had to fight off raiders, slavers, and worse, but we've also had to be careful not to attract too much attention from the major powers." "Which brings us back to your current problem," said another enhanced human, a woman with dark skin and eyes that seemed to see everything at once. "I'm Commander Patricia Wells. I specialize in intelligence gathering. We've been monitoring Council communications for months." "And?" Jake asked. "They're more afraid of you than you realize. The stories about what you did to those Krillian ships have been spreading. Some Council members are talking about treating enhanced humans as weapons of mass destruction." Lisa frowned. "We saved lives. How does that make us weapons?" "Because you did it too easily," Patricia replied. "You made it look effortless. That scares people in power." Alex led them to a large observation deck that looked out over the main docking bay. "Jake, I want to make you an offer. Join us, permanently. Bring your Zephyrian friends if they want to come. We can use your tactical expertise, and you can help us build something better than what the galaxy had before." "What do you mean?" Captain Zeltar asked. "The old galactic order is failing," Alex explained. "The Council is corrupt. The major powers are more interested in profit than justice, and the small worlds are being abandoned or exploited. We could be the foundation of something new." "You're talking about revolution," Dr. Velnara said quietly. "I'm talking about evolution," Alex corrected. "We don't need to destroy the current system. We just need to make it irrelevant." Jake was quiet for a long moment, looking out at the bustling activity of the station. "Alex, what you've built here is amazing. But I'm not ready to give up on the galaxy yet. There are still good people out there, like the crew of the Astral Dawn. They deserve a chance to make things better." "And the Council fleet that's coming for you?" "We'll deal with that when the time comes." 2 days later, the Council fleet arrived at the edge of the system. 50 ships, just as Captain Zeltar had predicted. The Astral Dawn was still docked at Haven Station, but the station's cloaking systems were active, making it invisible to the Council's sensors. Admiral Thorne's face appeared on the communication screen. "Captain Zeltar, our sensors indicate your ship is in this system. Please respond." Captain Zeltar looked at Jake, who nodded. "Admiral, we're here, but we're not alone. Captain, I'm ordering you to surrender the enhanced humans immediately. The Council has classified them as a threat to galactic security." "Admiral," Jake said, stepping into view, "I'd like to speak with the Council representatives directly." "That's not going to happen, Morrison. You're coming with us." Suddenly, the space around the Council fleet shimmered, and Haven Station became visible. The 50 Council ships found themselves surrounded by over 100 vessels of various sizes and configurations, all bristling with weapons. "Admiral," came Alex's voice over the communication system. "This is Commander Alex Reeves. I think we need to have a conversation." The standoff lasted for several tense minutes. The Council fleet was powerful, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. More importantly, they had never faced enhanced humans in combat. Finally, Admiral Thorne spoke. "What do you want?" "We want to be left alone," Alex said simply. "We want to help people without interference from the Council, and we want recognition that enhanced humans have the right to exist." "The Council doesn't negotiate with terrorists," came a new voice, harsh and authoritative.
"Then it's a good thing we're not terrorists," Jake replied. "We're survivors, and we're offering you a choice." The new voice belonged to Councillor Varric, a member of the militant thresh species. "You will surrender, immediately, or we will destroy you all." "You could try," Alex said calmly. "But before you do, let me show you something." The space around the fleet filled with holographic displays, showing dozens of rescue operations, medical missions, and defensive actions. Enhanced humans saving stranded crews, defending helpless colonies, and providing aid to refugees. "This is what we do," Alex said. "This is what we've been doing since we found each other. We help people. We protect the innocent. We make the galaxy a safer place." "Your power makes you dangerous," Councillor Varric insisted. "Our power makes us responsible," Jake replied. "And we take that responsibility seriously." Dr. Velnara had been quiet during the exchange, but now she spoke up. "Councillor Varric, I've been studying these humans for months. They're not conquerors or destroyers. They're protectors. The galaxy needs more beings like them, not fewer." "You're biased," Varric sneered. "You've been compromised by prolonged exposure to them." "No," Captain Zeltar said firmly. "She's right. I've seen what these humans can do, and I've seen what they choose to do. There's a difference." The standoff continued for hours. The Council fleet couldn't attack without risking massive casualties, and the enhanced humans didn't want to fight unless they had no choice. It was Admiral Thorne who finally broke the deadlock. "Councillor Varric, I'm ordering a withdrawal. This situation requires further deliberation." "You don't have the authority to—" "I have the authority to protect my fleet from unnecessary destruction," the Admiral cut him off. "And that's what I'm doing." As the Council fleet prepared to leave, Admiral Thorne opened a private channel to the Astral Dawn. "Captain Zeltar, I want you to know that not everyone in the Council agrees with Varric's position. There are those of us who believe the enhanced humans could be valuable allies." "Thank you, Admiral," Zeltar replied. "What happens now?" "Now we go back and have a long debate about what to do about your friends. But I'll make sure they know what I've seen here today." After the Council fleet departed, the crew of the Astral Dawn gathered with the enhanced humans of Haven Station to discuss their future. "We could all stay here," Lisa suggested. "Help build what Alex has started." "Or we could go back to our original mission," Jake said. "Keep searching for other survivors. Keep helping people who need it." "Why not both?" Captain Zeltar nodded slowly. "A rescue and aid network, ships and crews dedicated to helping those who can't help themselves." "And if the Council comes back with hostile intent?" Dr. Velnara asked. "Then we'll be ready," Alex said. "But hopefully it won't come to that. We've shown them that we're not the enemy. Maybe that will be enough." 6 months later, the network had grown to include 12 ships and over 200 enhanced humans. The Astral Dawn had become the flagship of the operation, with Captain Zeltar serving as the coordinator between the human teams and the various alien species they worked with. Jake stood on the bridge of the Astral Dawn,
watching as they approached a system where distress signals had been detected. In the months since the confrontation with the Council, they had rescued hundreds of beings from various disasters and conflict. "Captain," Lieutenant Kthra reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the source of the distress signal. It's a colony ship carrying refugees from the Vegan Civil War." "How many aboard?" Captain Zeltar asked. "Approximately 3,000 beings, mostly civilians. Their life support is failing and they're under attack by Vegan military forces." Jake moved to the tactical station. Military ships. 6 destroyers, moving to intercept the colony ship. "Options?" Captain Zeltar asked. "We could try to negotiate," Dr. Velnara suggested. "Vegans don't negotiate with refugees," Jake said grimly. "They consider them traitors. We're going to have to do this the hard way." "The hard way?" Jake smiled, the same confident expression he had worn when facing the Krillian raiders. "We show them that some things are worth fighting for." As the Astral Dawn moved to intercept the attacking ships, Jake felt the familiar surge of enhanced reflexes and tactical awareness. But this time, he wasn't alone. Lisa was at the communication station, coordinating with the refugee ship. Marcus was in engineering, ready to boost their systems beyond normal limits. Sarah was preparing to phase through the enemy ship's hulls if necessary. They were no longer just survivors trying to find their place in the galaxy. They were protectors, guardians, and hope-bringers. They were the evolution of humanity, and they were going to make sure that evolution served the cause of justice and peace. The Vegan destroyers opened fire on the refugee ship, but their shots were intercepted by the Astral Dawn's precisely targeted defensive fire. Jake's tactical computer was already analyzing the enemy formation, finding weaknesses, planning the most efficient way to disable the attackers without killing them. "This is Captain Zeltar of the Astral Dawn," came the transmission to the Vegan ships. "You will cease your hack on the refugee vessel immediately." "Zepyrian ship, this is a Vegan internal matter. Withdraw or be destroyed." "I'm afraid that's not going to happen," Jake said, taking over the communication. "This is Jake Morrison, speaking for the Enhanced Human Alliance. These refugees are under our protection now." There was a pause. Then, "Enhanced Human Alliance? You mean the Enhanced Humans are real?" "Oh, we're very real," Jake replied. "And we're here to make sure innocent people don't get hurt by those who would abuse their power." The vegan ships hesitated. The stories about enhanced humans had spread throughout the galaxy, but many had dismissed them as myths or propaganda. "Surrender now," Jake continued, "and you can return to your fleet with a warning for your commanders. Continue your attack, and we'll be forced to disable your ships and turn you over to the Galactic Council for war crimes." After a tense minute, the vegan ships withdrew. The refugee ship was safe, and 3,000 innocent beings would live to see another day. As the Astral Dawn escorted the refugees to a safe world, Jake reflected on how much had changed. He had awakened from his centuries-long sleep as the last human in the galaxy. Now he was part of something greater, a network of protectors who had chosen to use their incredible abilities to serve others rather than themselves. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but it was also full of hope. And as long as there were beings willing to stand up for what was right, that hope would never die. 3 years after the first enhanced human was awakened from his cryogenic sleep, the Enhanced Human Alliance had become a recognized force for good throughout the galaxy. Their ships were welcomed at friendly ports and feared by those who preyed on the innocent. Jake Morrison, once a soldier fighting a losing war, had become something more. He was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there were those who would stand up for what was right. But he was not alone. Across the galaxy, other enhanced humans were awakening, joining the Alliance, and adding their unique abilities to the cause. Some were warriors, others were healers, scientists, or diplomats. All were united by their shared purpose, to protect those who could not protect themselves. The Galactic Council had eventually come to recognize the Enhanced Human Alliance as a legitimate organization. They had their own territory now, their own laws, and their own way of doing things. But they remained committed to cooperation with other species and to the principles of justice and compassion that had guided them from the beginning. Captain Zeltar, now Admiral Zeltar, commanded a fleet of ships crewed by both enhanced humans and aliens from dozens of different species. The cooperation between humans and aliens had become a model for others to follow, showing that differences in species and abilities could be strengths rather than sources of conflict. Dr. Velnara had published her comprehensive study of enhanced humans, which had become required reading at universities throughout the galaxy. Her work had helped dispel many of the fears and misconceptions about human enhancement, and had contributed to a greater understanding of what it meant to be human in a universe full of diverse life forms. And in the depths of space, on ships traveling between the stars, the story of Jake Morrison and the enhanced humans continued to inspire others. It was a story of loss and renewal, of power and responsibility, of the choice between despair and hope. They had been created as weapons of war, but they had chosen to become instruments of peace. They had lost their world, but they had found their purpose. They were the last humans, but they were also the first of something new. A bridge between species, a force for good in a galaxy that desperately needed heroes. The story of the enhanced humans was still being written, one rescue at a time, one act of heroism at a time. And as long as there were innocent beings in need of protection, that story would continue to grow, inspiring others to choose courage over fear, compassion over cruelty, and hope over despair. The galaxy had gained something precious, proof that even in the darkest times, the best of humanity could survive and flourish. And that was a gift that would echo through the stars for generations to come.